everybody, it's Amy Graham, the Badass Valkyrie, and today we're going to be talking about something a little different in my lineup, and it might actually kind of shock some of you, but we'll go into that in just a minute. But first and foremost, I just wanted to apologize for not having a video up last Sunday. I have been recovering from, those of you who've had gastric bypass know the difficulties when you have a irritated pouch. And so that means the lining of my stomach, which for those of you who don't know what this is, a gastric bypass, so pretend this is your stomach and this is your esophagus. So with the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which is what I had 12 plus years ago, they go in and they cut your stomach. And so instead of having all of this, you only have a very small pouch. Now normally it's only about a 4 or a 2 ounce pouch. Mine is 4 ounces because of the way they had to cut it due to my enlarged liver, which has since shrank, thankfully. But the pouch can get irritated because we don't have as much enzymes and things like that that help break down the food, and certain things can just irritate it. So on Wednesday morning, I woke up and I took my morning pills, which is a handful, and I got upstairs to get ready after my miracle morning, suddenly decided I needed to throw up. And it wasn't like I'd been sick or not feeling good or anything like that. It was like, whoo, curling my hair, whoo, boom. And so I thought, okay, maybe I just swallowed my pills wrong or something. I don't know. I have taken my pills with orange juice for the last 12 years and never had a problem. So the best that we can figure out, it's one of two things. One, either a pill got stuck and it burned a hole into or irritated the lining somehow, that the pill itself was dissolving against the lining of my pouch. Or what is more likely, normally I drink a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar that has the mother strand in it, along with a tablespoon or a teaspoon of natural honey from Utah in 8 ounces of hot water. And so it's basically a hot cider in the morning, and while I'm making my coffee, because it takes about 8 minutes for me to do a Chemex full of coffee. Yes, I do a pour over. I use a Chemex. I highly recommend it. I grind my coffee fresh every morning. I grind my espresso every morning. Yeah. One day I'll have to show you guys how I actually do all my coffee and all that, because it is a process, let me just tell you. But it is part of my morning ritual kind of thing, and it's where I start my miracle morning, and now it's just kind of part of my flow. But I ran out of apple cider vinegar, and I just not gotten to Walmart to get more. And so I was like, it's fine. So I went about a week and a half without it. And evidently that is an issue. And so it just helps with digestion. It helps with the healthy probiotics that are in your system, all of that. So stopping it was probably not the right decision. So it caused some irritation in the lining of my pouch, which you'd think apple cider vinegar would do all on its own, but it doesn't. It actually helps regulate everything. So long story short, I was coming down of recovering from that. And so Sunday I woke up and I'm like, I'm done. I am done with this week, with everything, with my training. Done. Just done. And so I just took the day off of everything. I watched the season opener, season 5 of the originals. For those of you who may have saw it on my Instagram, I propped my feet up. I made myself a waffle, and was it a waffle? No, I made myself French toast. Not a waffle, French toast. Because we had this thick bread. It was fabulous. I cut up strawberries over the top of it. Oh, it was divine. And my and Greg was asleep upstairs. He works mid-shift, so his schedule gets really off. So he doesn't actually really wake up during the day until, on the weekends until like 11 or 12, sometimes 1, depending on how late he stayed up gaming. So I had a big morning all to myself, and I'm just like, I am going to relax, enjoy myself, and I was going to get a haircut later that day, which I did. Thank you, Erin. And although it's been blowing around all day today because I went to the archery range, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. But so I made it an entire self-care day and just pampered myself. And Monday I was like, oh, I gotta get my video done. But the thing that I'm going to show you here in a few minutes was not ready. And I was forcing myself to do that. And I'm like, we're just gonna chill. We're just gonna relax. I'll get it up. When I get it up, there you go. I'm not even gonna go there. Although the 12-year-old boy in me really does want to go there. Anyway, so I decided that I would try to get this up like Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. We'll see what happens when I get it edited. But I realized that, honestly, I'm the only one that really counts on that schedule. And I don't have Patreon or anything like that. I don't have patrons right now. So, really, I was like, okay, we can just, life happens, and life is going to happen next week or over Labor Day weekend when I'm at Dragon Con. Although you will get videos, it just will not be like this. It will be me on the fly at Dragon Con showing you all the craziness. So I'll be vlogging there. So, and some of the tournament and that kind of thing. So you guys can see kind of what goes on behind the scenes of Amy the Planner Girl versus Amy the Fighter Girl. So hopefully you will enjoy that. So anyway, tangent. I decided to take the day off, and so that's why you didn't get one Sunday, and so I apologize. But this is only like the second or third time I've ever done that. So anyway, moving ahead. My goodness. I have been watching John Rush, and I will link his channel below. I love his videos. Plus, he's a fellow Okie, and I was born and raised in Oklahoma, and we're probably about the same age. And I would imagine at some point in time, because he's a musician and a flautist and flute player, however you want to, whatever. You don't know what the proper term is because he plays for the orchestra and everything. It's amazing as far as I can tell. But I'm sure that we passed each other at some point in time if he grew up in Oklahoma and did everything there. So anyway, he did a couple of videos. And the first one I saw, I was like, I think I have something like that. I'm intrigued now. Then just recently, either yesterday or the day before, he posted a whole setup of a new item. And I'm like, oh, I need to do this. I have to do it. And so I was mildly obsessed. A little bit. When I get something in my head that I want to do, it's like, I have to do this. If I don't do it now, it's going to make me crazy. So I went a little crazy, I'll admit. But I had this thing. I had found it, oh my goodness, months ago. And I'm like, I'll never use that. But it's Coach. Hello. It's vintage Coach. And I love me some Coach. I was a Coach girl back in high school, back in the 80s. I was a Coach. Not that I was, well, actually I was. 84, I graduated. So at the height of Coach bags, I was just like, I always wanted a Coach bag, and I could never afford to get a Coach bag. And so then when I started finding them at thrift stores and things like that, I love the vintage stuff. I am not a big fan of like the big like C's everywhere or Coach embroidered on everything. I'm not a big fan of that. I love the old vintage leathers. So when I came across this little beauty, I was like, oh, that looks like a Coach. And I opened it up and I'm like, oh, it's a Coach. So this is a Coach wallet pocket rings. What is that? Oh, that was to the event that I went today. So he has set up, he originally set up one of those clear planners that have been really popular lately that you can get on Amazon for like $6. He had a little pocket one, and it's about the size of a passport. And he set it up using extra stuff from his Cocoa Daisy kits. And he was the person that actually turned me on to Cocoa Daisy. I'm like, oh, I must have this in my life. And so, and he does all like smaller planners. He's the king of pocket and passport and the smaller like planners. And so when I saw him set that up, that original one set up in the clear one, using the B kit, which was not September, it was August's kit, which was teacups and all of that, which was the kit that I wasn't like, because I'm a coffee girl, and I'm like, no, not tea, coffee, obviously. I was like, I know I have that pocket somewhere, so I dug through my house and found it. And then he did a whole setup of this new bourbon Mystic Little Gifts pocket setup. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. So, yeah. However, I will say this. I mean, we all know that I'm a pocket girl. I love my pocket traveler's notebooks. Love them. And so, but the one thing that I figured out when I did the One Book July was I enjoyed being able to take things in and out. And had it been everything I needed it to be, it would have been perfect. But I'm also a Hobonichi girl. So there's my dilemma. So what I had found, though, was going through all of this, going through the rings for One Book July, going through the different Hobonichis, everything like that, was that I like the smaller size of the pocket. And I would try to have all of these different inserts for all these different things. But then I would have this whole insert, which wasn't necessarily everything that I needed it to be. So I would have multiple ones. Well, great. But then I would have one insert for one thing, and then half the insert was not used. And so it would take forever to use it up. And I'm just like, oh, and then it gets kind of beat up. And so I was kind of going back and forth going, how do I, and then Carrie Harling had talked about another pocket person, which I adore. So she had talked about splitting your inserts in half and doing the front half for one thing and the back half for another thing. And then she actually prints her own, and which John does as well. And he actually even has a shop that does, oh my gosh, just with my brain. Peekaboo? No. Peaky Dory Designs on Etsy. There we go. And so, but they talk about not actually stapling your inserts for the pockets, and you just fold them, and then you just slide them underneath the TN, which is great. Fine. So I was doing that sometimes, but still, it wasn't working exactly the way I wanted it to work. What I really needed, and even the Weeks didn't do this for me, and then the Weeks is my self-care. So it wasn't like I had started out using the Weeks for this specific purpose. But what I needed was something that I could throw in my bag, hence my pocket traveler's notebook, and just pull out when I needed to make a note or something that I would move then into my Hobonichis, either my self-care Weeks or my A5 Cousin Avec. Because obviously I'm not going to carry my A5 Cousin Avec with me in my bag. So I needed something small, portable, changeable, and just have the bits and pieces that I needed, like on the calendar or whatever, that I could reference back to when I needed it. because I like writing things down. I don't like putting things in my calendar. It's like, oh, and I would put it in my calendar, but then I would not set a reminder, or I would not save it or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, missed that appointment. So what he was showing was like, oh my God, this does exactly what I want it to do. A pocket rings is the answer. So I obsessed about it. Then I found this in my stash, because for those of you who don't know, I do paper and pour overs, which is I do flips or resales on eBay, on Facebook, that kind of thing, mostly out of my stash. Or I will find planners or things like along that same line, covers, things like that at thrift stores or handbags, anything like that, and flip it. So those of you who might listen to Gary Vaynerchuk know about the miraculous thing flips are, but you have to know kind of what you're doing. You can't just go, oh, I want to buy that and put it on eBay. And it's like, no, you have to know what you want. Hence Coach bags, vintage leather, vintage handbags, vintage shoes. There's a market for almost everything, but you've got to know where to put it, how to put it, all of that kind of thing. Whole nother side of things. So I'm just starting to get into that, and it's fairly decent to do on the side. So instead of just hoarding it all here, I've kind of turned it into making it work for me. But anyway, whole different video there. But when I found this, I mean, I always look for different planners and things like that when I'm out and about. And I was also obsessed with finding the file of facts for One Book July. And so that's when I found this. And so I put it all away. And when he pushed that out, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. Then I found out that Peanuts Planner Co. in the Facebook group, she has a bunch of freebie downloadables that you can use for free, and not downloadables, but printables that you can get for free from her group if you're part of the Facebook group. I'd already been part of the Facebook group, but I hadn't really paid attention to the whole freebie thing. Start paying attention, Amy. So I did, and so I went and started looking at the downloads that were available, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I could do that. Oh, I could do that. That would help me with this. That would help me with this. Oh my gosh, I've got to do this. And so what I found when I was doing the personal size, the Finsbury for One Book July, was it was still too big. And I'm used to using a very small nibbed pen. The gel pens, I prefer the Signo, Uniball Signo's 0.38. That's my preferred pen in my Hobonichi, in my Weeks, in my A6, in this, other than a fountain pen, which is a fine nib. But I love those pens. And I'm used to writing in very small grid on the Hobonichi anyway. So when he started talking about using all these bits of ephemera from the kits that he had, and how he did all these different things, and I'll show you in here the notepads from Coco Daisy's kits, pocket size. All you have to do is just like trim off the little rubber schmutz at the top where you like peel it off. Perfect. So I went a little crazy, and I'm like, oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. And the thing that I love about this is I didn't actually have to put any money into it other than the thing. What I had also found was when I was at PlannerCon parties this past month in Salt Lake, on the freebie table where everybody just puts stuff that they aren't going to use anymore and trade, there was a pack of laminated pocket dividers. And I'm like, oh, those would go in this. And I actually thought it would go in the other one that I had, but it turns out Filofax and Franklin Covey are a little bit different sizes, and so this one is the same size as the Filofax. So when I got them home, I initially thought I would put it in my Franklin Covey that's a red leather, and it's just a notebook. It just opens up, and it's a hardcover, and it's really nice, but it was too small. And I'm like, oh, well, that's disappointing. And then I thought, oh, I have this. So I'd stuck them in here, and just forgot about it because I'm like, oh, it's vintage, it's cute, it's just too small. And funny enough, in this, it had a whole brand new set of inserts from Coach, 1998. Shows you how old this sucker is. But I originally was going to keep parts of it, but they're cream, and I'm like, no, I'm not a cream person, no. And I actually tried to go online to Coach and see if they actually made this anymore, and they do not. So, sadly, I couldn't even get inserts from Coach. But then come to find out, it's just a regular pocket 6-ring inserts. So, I will link down below the Peanut Planner Co. Facebook group and the website, all of that, plus Carrie Harling and John Rush's YouTube channels, because if you like pocket rings, they are the be-all, end-all of pocket rings, or pockets, smaller traveler's notebooks and smaller planners. Carrie bounces back and forth from B6 to weeks to pocket to personal to whatever, but she's always in like a tiny planner. So I've been obsessed with her little planning thing. I'm like, it's just so tiny, and I thought, oh, I'll never like that. But the Peanuts Planner Co. inserts are perfect because the grid is about the same size as a Hobonichi, and so I'm like, oh, this is nothing bad at all. And I don't actually use this for planning. It's just I need something that I can stick in my bag, pull out, write down what I need, and I'll show you how I do all of that. So don't expect great shakes that I'm planning everything in here. No, this is just reminders and things that I need on the go. So we will go ahead and talk about that here in a few minutes. And so I'll flip this bad boy around. But one other thing really quickly, I'm not doing it this video, but the next video, which will be Sunday, I promise, I am going to show you what I'm putting together for my 1,000 member or 1,000 follower prize box, and how that you can sign up for that. So, or what the contest will be around that. But it will be a shove everything you can in this box, like the medium-sized box from the post office, and all stuff from my stash that I'm just putting together. And I'm still working on things that I literally actually have to go to the post office and get one of the boxes because I'm not sure about the size. But then I'm just going to fill it with stuff. And that's going to be the prize box. So I have things already pulled out, but there's a few other things that I want to do, but they're not exactly going to fit. And so all I have here are the smaller boxes. And so I'm like, before I start announcing anything or figuring it all out, I want to make sure that the box that I'm going to use will work. So that's coming. And also info on the podcasts and all of that. So we're going to go ahead and flip this bad boy around, and I'm going to go through this tiny little adorable amazing thing, and we will go from there. So I will be right back. Okay, there we go. Now, as I said, this is a vintage Coach, and as you can see, it's got some scratches to it, but overall, I mean, I'm just throwing it in my bag anyway. So, and for being over 10 years old, I'd say it's in pretty good shape. So the rings are tight, everything. So almost everything in here I already had. It was part of anything from my Cocoa Daisy or any of the stuff that I already had that would fit in here. The only thing that I did was, as I said before, I went to Peanuts Planner Co. and in their Facebook group and downloaded the freebie downloads or freebie printables that she has. And then I actually went to the website and purchased an additional 9 inserts. But her printables are for pocket are only $2. And if you're a member of the Facebook group, you get 15% off. So I spent another $12 and got 9 additional printables. So I'll go through those and show you. Again, I've only been using this for a few days, and so there's some in here that don't have anything written on them just because I'm trying to see how I'm going to use them. So with that in mind, over here I've got this will be a washi card, but I don't have anything on it yet. This is one of the Coffee Monsters Co. Die cuts that I laminated. And then another washi card there. And then this will actually be a washi card too. And then this is part of this. This is one of the, I got two, remember when I, went crazy with my typewriter, or I think it was typewriters. This was part of the Cocoa Daisy kit, one of the kits. And so to make it a pocket size, I just cut this part off and I just tuck it in front of that card so it stays flat. And then this goes in there. So I have a stencil. And then this was one of the original pieces that came with the original Coach. I actually have another one that says Coach on the front, but I just took that out. And this is a piece of, this was actually a card from one of the Cocoa Daisy kits, but this was actually one of the backing cards of one of the pieces, but it fit perfectly. And then this is a Inhale, Exhale. This is one of the Project Life cards, and those fit great in here as well. So this is the first insert. This is a fold out of a full year 2018, and it's just a small version of that. That actually came in a planner kit. It was like $3.25, so that was the most I spent on any of these printables, but it had a whole bunch of different yearly stuff. So there were a couple of different things in that set that I wanted, and so I went ahead and just bought the whole thing. And then this is a weekly, it's 52 weeks, and you can just write some different things in there. I try to have a focus every week, something that I'm focusing on specifically for that week, and so I'm going to go in and fill it in for the rest of the year. This is a tracker, a yearly tracker again, but this is where I'm tracking vacation hours or sick time there. And then these are the laminated dividers that I got for free off the trade table at PlannerCon. And so this was actually the first pocket thing that I had. And I was like, oh, those are cool. Let's try those. And so I picked them up, and then they didn't fit the thing that I originally was going to get them for, but they fit this perfectly. And I love the print on them and everything. So, and what I did is from Planner Kate, I had gotten a list, or 3 little sheets of tab stickers. And so then what I did is, because this was laminated, it made them kind of slip around. So what I did is I took a piece of clear packing tape and put the clear packing tape over it so that those don't come off. So this is the month view. And this has the full 2018 month in it. And I went back and I just kind of backfilled that a little bit. John had done that for his, and he had put all kinds of washi tape and everything through there. I'm not that industrious. Plus, I'm kind of a minimalist decorator. So I went back through and put some of the major things that happened throughout the year that I'll want to remember for next year. And then put those in. And then this marks this month. This is August. And some of the Planner Kate stickers almost fit these little things. So, but this is from the September kit from Cocoa Daisy, the owls and the moons, and I love that. And so that's one of the life cards, and so, or the pocket cards. And so I laminated that and left a little extra on the side. So that was kind of a marker as to where I am during the day or during the year or month portion. And I've gone in for the rest of the year and put in what I know is coming. And then you can do the back, you can do like a future log here for 2019. And then the next tab is my weekly tab. And so those of you who've watched my channel know that I have a Death Wish sticker in every one of my traveler's notebooks, every one of my planners, It's just my thing. And so it's either Death Wish coffee or Valhalla Java. And what I realized was that both of those stickers are too big to actually put on anything. And so what I did is I laminated one of the stickers and turned it into a divider. Da-da-da! And it's absolutely perfect. So I was like, that makes it absolutely awesome. So that is my Valhalla Java Death Wish coffee sticker as a laminated divider. I wish that I had realized that I should put one on the back, but I didn't. But in case I want to put sticky notes or something there, that'll work just fine. And then this is one of the free printables that you can get. It's the week on 2 pages. And this is the one that John Rush had, and he was showing on his video that I was like, oh, I need that. I need that particular printable. And so I went and found it, and it just kind of spurned me on to something else. But as I said, I only use this as a backup for my Hobonichis. Again, I put here this week's focus is waking up and getting going at 5 a.m., no soda, bringing lunch to work, and I'm trying to count my carbs. So keeping those under 150 carbs per day. So we're trying to do that the whole time. And then you just, all I do is the to-dos that I need to make sure I don't forget, I put in here, and then I'm tracking my no spin days, 20-minute clean, Tai Chi Qigong, sifting my cat litter. Woohoo! I'm so exciting. And doing laundry. And then tracking when I do my run, bike, swims, or when I'm tracking game time. This is just a piece of laminate that I cut off of this. So I'm like, oh, that would make a perfect clear little marker. And I just cut the ring section, and it's one that I can take in and out. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I've got the next 4 weeks in here, or 3 weeks. So next is daily, and this is the other printable that I really liked, and this is another one of the free ones. And so all I'm doing is just putting things that I need to track or do during the day, just so that I have it with me when I'm on lunch, when I'm on a break, or if I have to go to a meeting or something from work, and I'm not carrying my full planner with me. It's just something that I'm like, dang it, I know I was supposed to do something and I can't remember because I don't have my planner with me. Ta-da! Here we go. And then if I need to pick something up, or like when I was at the post office, it occurred to me that I still needed to check something online, and I'm like, oh, I need to just write that down. So I did. It was that I wanted to print my PayPal invoices because I try to track those when they're shipped and all of that here at home. So I made sure I did that. And then here, I decided that I will put, because I write down a daily goal, my daily gratitude, and word of the day in my Hobonichi every day. But I thought it would be good, the one thing that I would carry over when I'm updating this at night or weekly is my goal of that day. And then, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to knock you off there. But I went to the Branding Expo, and I did post the event. And then my goal for that day. So this is today, and it was an easy day, and most of it was spent at the Branding Expo, and so I didn't really need to put much in there. So some days will be like that. It's boom, I don't have a lot to do, or I'm doing a lot of the same thing in a big chunk of time. So it's there. But like the day before, I had a lot more going on. So, and then this is another, this was just a spare piece of paper that I had that was like a galaxy theme. And so I just put I put today there, and it stuck out, it stuck out high enough the way I wanted it. And then I had these moon and astronaut stickers from What's More with Love. So I put those on there. And then Coffee Monsters Co. and No Power in the Verse Can Stop Me. And so I just laminated that piece because I didn't need it to be big. And it was absolutely the perfect size. The paper was this wide and that's all I had left of it. So it was a scrap. And so I just laminated it on a bigger piece and then cut the holes. And I use this Rapsco punch. You can do it for a mini or a pocket or a personal size. For the personal size, you just pull this out and it'll go to the personal size. It'll even actually go to an A5. So these things are, I paid, I think, $12 for this one online on Amazon, and I'll go ahead and link that down below for you because this has been the awesomest thing I have purchased so far. Oh my gosh. And I will tell you this, check the colors because the white one was $3 cheaper than any other color. I'm like, oh, well, I don't care what color it is. We'll go with white. And it was free Prime shipping. So I'll be sure to link that down below for you. And so you have the ability, if you have like a laminator, which you can get at Walmart for $20, you can make your own stuff, which is really cool. And like I said earlier, I'm more of a minimalist decorator. However, part of the thing that has intrigued me about this is that I can use scraps. And when I have a bunch of paper and ephemera from Coco Daisy that I'm not using anywhere else, I am perfectly fine to use it in this, and it works great. These are the note pages from the notepad that you get. It's this size. As I said, the only thing I did was I trimmed like just the bare essence at the top because when you peel it off, the rubber sticks to it. So I just put it through the trimmer and I just barely take any off. And then these are all the pads from the different kits that I have. And so I just rotated the pages. And it's perfect. And this is what really got me when John did this. And he's like, and this fits. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need it. Because they're not sticky notes. And so I use the sticky notes in here. In fact, back here, well, where'd I put it? Here we go. The sticky notes I have sitting in here on one of the tabs. So when I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. Oh, I love it. And so it's a way to use everything that I have in that kit. And like the stickers and the ring stickers and all of that is stuff that I'm like, I normally would not have used, but because I'm using this and I'm not, how do I put it? Like with my Hobonichis, I keep those inserts. With my traveler's notebooks, even with the pocket traveler's notebooks, I keep those inserts. This is just printed copy paper. And I'm like, once I get rid of the month and I've transferred everything from it, I'm just throwing it away. So, because it's all just like bits and pieces of everything that goes into either my pocket, traveler's notebook, my weeks, or my A5. That is all this is. It is not a planner all by itself. I'm not actually planning in this. This is for notes, little bits and pieces of all of my traveler's notebooks that I use, or Hobonichi books. And it's just a way to have it be portable. And something that I can just grab on the go and just be like, oh, I need to make a note. I need to do whatever. And it does happen to have a thing back here for receipts. If I just needed to just take this with me, I could put cash in there. And it's got a thing here for change or whatever else I decide to put in there. So it just works out. So, sorry, I'm getting all the way ahead of myself. But, so this I have up until the end of the month. And then I did another fold out that is the whole year, and it's got a line there. So for those of you who have like a monthly log in your bullet journal, I thought that I could do that in here for the whole year. Obviously only for the last few months of 2018, but I could make a little note of something that I needed to do or focus on or whatnot. And I haven't quite done that. I just got a couple of these today, so, or printed done. And then this is a today that's a full-time list from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. with a tracking list there. So I just stuck a couple of these in there because this is another, I can't remember if this is another freebie or if it's one that I paid for, but I wanted to try it. So I've got them in, and on this one that I really, really liked, it goes from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then you've got a notes section, a place to track water, like a checklist, and a to-do list or whatever you wanted to do. So that's kind of how I'm doing the dailies. So then I jump into the notes, which is again the notepads from Coco Daisy. And then I have a to-do section. And this is the one of the free printables. And it's just a giant to-do list that has a little box there that I can check off. And I think they had this in grid as well, but I wanted just the blank lines. And then this is one of the to-do lists that came with this planner, so I just decided to keep it in there. But yeah, you can see how hideous the paper was. I'm like, ah! So, but I mean, I might as well use them. I have them. And then I have meals for here. And this is a 4-box grid page. And it's kind of what I'm doing my meal planning on. So I tend to take my breakfast and my lunch to work. And so planning that out kind of keeps me ahead of the game that way. And I'm not spending money going out for breakfast or lunch every day. And so I kind of figure out what I want to do, because I kind of just rotate through things and then I can mark down when I need to replace it. And so I had for every week, so these are 8 pages. So I've got, if I wanted to, what I needed to like replace here at the end of the week. This is Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then what I wanted to put here, or I could just do it for the week, for the work week, and then just continue it on. And then I have a grocery guide. And so this is just a grocery list, things that I normally buy at MPS and grocery store, and then Costco and other places. So I can keep a running list of things that I need, and I don't leave it at the house. Or if I realize, ooh, I need to stop by Walmart and get this, and then I can go, what else do I need? Because I have this with me in my handbag, not hanging on the refrigerator where it usually lives. So I did a few weeks of those. And then again, like I said, I've got the to-do lists or the sticky notes there, just a section of them. I think there's like 8 or 9 there. Not too thick, so it interferes with anything, but because these are thicker and laminated cardstock, I'm not writing directly on those, so it's not lumpy or anything. And if I felt that it was kind of an issue, then I could flip it over to these side. So here is the next section, which is a reoccurring task. So these are monthly tasks, and then you have January through December here. So you can just check that off. This was not a free one, but again, they're only $2, and you can get a 15% discount. So woohoo! So I printed out a few of those. I've still got to fill that in. And then this is under my list tabs. And then this is just a little dashboard that I had. And it's actually built one for a Passport TN. And so it was an actual dashboard that I just split. And then I need to go back in and cut those. But this was, again, one of those backing life cards from that typewriter kit. And I just put that in there. And then this is a Project Life card that just said, cherish yesterday, enjoy today, trust tomorrow. And then I put one of the Once More with Love, Planner Girls, and then Coffee Monsters Co. And Just Write It Down. Ta-da! That's what I'm having this for. There. And then this is just blank lined note paper from the Coach thing that I just decided to go ahead and use. And then this tab is my project tab. And so I have various projects going on. Those of you who know my channel know that I am an overdoer. And so I decided that I needed to have something that could keep track of all my projects. And so I have the project planner. You've got that on front and back. And then this checklist, I decided to go ahead and use for the projects. And then I can check these off when I need to. And they're just the grid sections there. And so I've just got a few sets of these there. And then the next is, or the last tab is bills. And this is her financial routine printout, and it's a foldable. So here you put your bill tracker, then your debt tracker, and then your financial routine for the year. And it's January through June, and then on the back is July through December. And she has a whole video up about just that tracker. And so I want to, those of you who know, again, have seen my channel, I have a whole standard traveler's notebook, bright red, Odyssey, Prometheus, ta-da. That is my bills traveler's notebook. But I wanted to have something in here too, so that if I'm pay a bill at work and I don't have that traveler's notebook with me, I can make the note in here and then transfer it either in the evening or on Sundays when I do all of my book updates. And then this is just a regular bill tracker, and you put the bill, and this is for the fluctuating bills, so that ones that are not the same amount every month. And so you put the bill, you put when it's due, and how much each of the bill was for the whole month, or the whole year, sorry. And so I printed out several of those, and we'll fill those in. And then this is actually why I got the bundle, the yearly tracker bundle. I think that's what she calls it. I loved this, so that, and I really want to get this for 2019, but what I can do until I get the 2019 one is I can just use this as future planning, or when I go in and I actually pay a bill, or I can note it, or if I make a payment arrangement or whatever I need to do, I can put it in here and then block out the date that it was done. So there's that. And then this is just a year with grid under it. So it's, again, January through June, July through December, and it's basically just grid for the year. And I do have this a little full, so that's kind of why it's doing that. But if I wanted to make notes or put future dates, I'm going to use this as kind of like the future log. Whether it's for bills, whether it's for events, whether it's for tournaments, whatever, it's going to go in there. And then when I'm on the go, I can be like, oh, somebody asked me, hey, can you do this in January? And I'm like, oh, let me see what else I've got going on in January of 2019. Usually I would need my Hobonichi planner for that, because I would write it down in my A5 Cousin of Eck. However, I don't normally keep that anywhere else. And so I'd be like, well, let me get home and I can tell you. Well, if I keep it all in here too, then I will kind of know. So, and then I have one more, what's there? I have one more that's a little clear. These are more flexible. So I'm not sure if I like that or not. And then I just hole punched this, and these are all the sticky flags. And then this is one of the Filofax pockets, zipper pouches, and I've got just some samplers and the Planner Kate tiny stickers, and these are the ones that actually fit almost the calendar. And then I took one of these folders, and the folder was actually like this, and so it kind of stuck out a little bit, so I just trimmed it down and then repunched it. And that is why I love this thing, because you can trim it however wide you want and then just repunch it. And then these are a bunch of little tiny date stickers that I got at Michael's. And so a lot of her stuff is undated. And so if I didn't feel like writing it, if I wanted to go through and use all the stickers, then I could. And then I have stickers back here that I just keep, and then my pen. And the Signo Uniball 0.38 fits perfectly in that tiny little pen loop. So there you have it. It is my tiny little pocket, and I love it. And again, it just fits exactly perfectly in my wallet, or in my purse, handbag, whatever. And it's actually a thinner profile than my wallet. If this actually had more card slots, or card slots at all, other than these 3, I would probably go ahead and use this for my wallet. However, I'm finding that what I have in my Apple Pig wallet, the Traveler's Notebooks, the little inserts for my bill tracking, or not my bill tracking, my debit card tracking and all that kind of thing, I don't really go in and update it. And so I'm like, well then, why do I have this whole thing when I could just go back to a regular wallet and keep the profile of my handbag down? So we'll see. I may switch back and forth, but in doing that, this just stays the same because it's not my wallet. It's just a throw around. If I need to make a note, I pop it open, I take out my pen, and I write the note down, and there you go. Or, if I know that I'm going to Walmart or the grocery store or MPS or whatever, I can make a note and go through and see what I need and just have it. And I don't have to worry about anything. And then I take this either at night, I'll go through it and see what I need to work on for tomorrow, what I need to move forward. Like yesterday, some of these got moved forward. And so I'm just using, like I do a bullet journal, I check it off. If I did it, if I need to push it forward, I just put an arrow there, and that's it. And it has worked out really, really well so far. And when it gets full, or it's at the end of the month, I take the pages out and make sure that I've tracked everything or documented everything in my Hobonichi. Then I just throw it away because I don't need to keep it, because the permanent record is actually my Hobonichi. So this is perfect. It's printable. I don't feel like I'm wasting anything, and I'm only doing a couple of weeks at a time. So I'm loving this for the use that I need it to be. And that is just a completely disposable, tear out, rip out, do whatever page that I don't have to worry about. So not only am I a huge fan of the Pocket Traveler's Notebooks, evidently I'm a huge fan of the Pocket Rings as well. And after One Book July, I never actually thought I would ever go back into rings, because I'm like, it was not what I wanted. I couldn't find the right inserts. It was not my Hobonichi. Hobonichi does not make a pocket. Therefore, I'm not sitting there and comparing it. The closest they come is the A6, which is the Hobonichi Techo, or the English Planner, if you want it in English or Japanese. And for that, it's okay for what I'm using that for, which is my Miracle Morning. But the A6 would not work for what I'm doing in here, because God forbid I just rip out a page of the Hobonichi. That will never happen. So even if it's the old Hobonichis, I'm like, oh. Although I did think, I do have some I've got an old A6 from last year that I'm like, can I cannibalize the paper out of that and make a pocket page? So once I find that, I'm going to try it out and see if I can cut that down. Again, it feels kind of sacrilegious, but or I may just get Tomoe River paper or Penguin Paper Co. and just have her do me rings grid paper. But so far, I'm loving the Peanut Planner Co. inserts, the downloadables, the freebies, and the ones that I purchased. They were absolutely worth the money. And honestly, if I turn around tomorrow and go, screw this, I'm done, it was still worth the money. And for this, I paid $3.99 for the leather, the Coach wallet. And yeah, I've gotten my money's worth out of that for sure too. So, plus I got some pages and some other stuff. So yeah, I'm digging this, and it solves a dilemma that I had because I didn't want to carry my weeks with me because it's too tall. I didn't like the A6 because it's just not what I wanted. This is what I was craving when I did the One Book July, but the personal was still too big. This works out exactly the way I want it. So, have you gone down the road of pocket rings before and decided that you just couldn't handle it? Did you think it was too small? What happened when you did yours? Let me know in the comments below because I'm curious. Also, if you know of good pocket printables, or even more important, stickers that work in these tiny little freaking spaces, let me know. And I will be forever grateful because my thumb is bigger than these squares. Now, I have no problem writing small. Not at all. And I know Burgess will be like, Burgess Taylor with Journey with Burgess, she'll be like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that because she writes really big. But I'm used to writing small. And even in high school and junior high, I wrote tiny. So I have a much more, what am I trying to say here? Amy, spit it out. It's much more problematic for me to write big than it is for me to write little. So, and I always just write in non-cursive, which I can't remember what this is called. So it works out great for me. So I'm loving it. John and Carrie Harling, you guys have created a monster. And yeah, so there you go. My little venture down pocket lane. In the rings, because I honestly, like I said, I never thought that I would go back to rings, but here I am and I love it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, spend the rest of your life celebrating. And don't forget to answer the questions in the comments below. And stay tuned for Sunday, which I promise it will be there. The prize box, what's going to be in it, and what you can do to enter to win it. So thank you very much for being a subscriber of mine. I appreciate it greatly. And I would not keep doing this if it wasn't fun. And it's just turned into something that I enjoy so very much. And I hope that my talking about needing to take a break on Sunday, it had nothing to do with the channel. It was basically work, and everything has been a little bit stressful for me, and prepping for Dragon Con next week over Labor Day weekend is always a stressful time for me. So it's just been a heck of a month so far. And so I just needed a rest. And so I appreciate you guys bearing with me while I do that. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys soon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.